Hey guys, welcome back to the Vikings Central Postgame Show. Vikings get the win, and they had to come back in this one, but we get the win. We get to 3-2 over the Browns, 21-17. What an amazing game, um, man! Um, this one started out where we got the 3-and-out initially on quarterback uh, Gabriel. Um, Dylan Gabriel, and it looked good from the get go. We got the 3-and-out, did what we needed to do, at least initially on defense, and then our offense started looking good. And then, of course, the turnover monster kind of came and bit us. But initially after that first turnover that we had, you know, we saw Jordan Mason give that turnover and that fumble the ball. It's unfortunate. We saw Xavier Scott then come into the game in relief of him, and then he ended up having his own fumble in the game. So we had two turnovers. They were unfortunate, and that really kind of bit us for a good portion of the game. But what it looked to be in this game was an issue of us being able to not only establish the run ourselves. That seemed to be an issue. And then also taking some costly sacks on third down. And then on defense, to me, it looked like the biggest issue that we had was Quinshon Judkins. We talked about a little bit in the pregame of that possibly being an issue. And of course, um, it was tough. And I think stopping Quinshon, he is a beast. He absolutely is, and he's tough to bring down. We've had trouble in the run game for the run defense, at least on this team, being able to stop running backs, and that's something that we're definitely going to have to work on during this bye week and come in with a different game plan as far as stopping the run, because that was hurting us all throughout the game. If we were able to kind of at least limit some of the plays by Quinshon Judkins, I think this is an easier victory for this Vikings team. Now, the other thing to kind of bring up in this game too is when we're on offense and we're running some plays, there were some issues that people had with some of the play calling from Kevin O'Connell. And of course, one of the comments I think I saw after the trick play that Cam Akers had when he passed Josh Oliver for that first touchdown, I think one of the comments I saw on one of my posts was finally some creativity. That was good to see. I mean, obviously, it was a big touchdown for us too. After starting down the game after the turnover, the Browns marched down the field. Really, Judkins marched down the field. They get the touchdown, go up 7-0. So to come back and then have that trick play and Cam Akers, hey, welcome back to Minnesota, Cam Akers. Couldn't be happier to see you in that moment. Comes up with a big pass, and Josh Oliver comes up big, gets a touchdown, and we tie it up 7-7. After that, it just kind of seemed like we'd have some big plays where Carson Wentz would throw it, and it's a little high or whatever it may be, and Justin Jefferson makes like this ridiculous catch to kind of keep the drive going, and then we stall out and we take a big sack on third down or whatever it was. We'd stall out. That seemed to be kind of the theme, at least in the first half. And then, of course, we had a couple where, Carson runs towards the end of that second quarter and then takes a big hit. He goes in the tent, then goes back to the locker room. So he's got I believe it was his left shoulder that he had injured when he went into the locker room early. So then we were talking about, hey, is this going to be where we see Max Brosmer getting his very first start as a rookie quarterback? Because we had no emergency quarterback. So he was next man up. He was QB2 on the roster. So we were looking at possibly that. And then, hey, out of halftime, Carson Wentz is back, and he did make some big throws in that game. He threw for 236 yards in a touchdown in this game. But he came up with some big throws, especially towards the end of the game. But after halftime, again, he helps us march down the field, and we get a touchdown. And I think that was really good to see um, us march down there and get one, if you will. So getting a touchdown in, going up 14-10. Then of course the Browns, again, we're still having trouble stopping the run. Quinshawn Judkins had a big day. I think he had 110 yards. What did he end up having? Yep, 110 yards off 23 carries, 4.8 yards a clip. So we just had trouble all day stopping him. But David Njoku gets a touchdown on us. They're feeling good. So both their tight ends got touchdowns on us today. Harold Fannin Jr. And then of course David Njoku. Um, so that's really who hurt us today was Judkins and Njoku a little bit, but other than that, I mean, our cornerbacks did an amazing job in not only keeping, in my opinion, Dylan Gabriel in check as far as taking off and running on us. Dylan Gabriel was only 2 carries for 5 yards. That was a concern coming into the game that he was gonna take off and his running ability that he showed in college, that was a concern. But Jerry Judy, nowhere to be heard in this game. Only 2 catches for 15 yards. And other than Njoku, their next top receiver was 2 for 29. Now, before I get too carried away, I want to go ahead and add to the stage. I just saw Ryan join us on here too, so I'm going to go ahead and add Ryan to the conversation. Ryan, welcome. How are you?
What's up, buddy?
I'm feeling good. I mean, I was downstairs at least 3 different times screaming with my son, throwing him in the air, uh, celebrate once after, the Wentz, touchdown, to Addison. That was huge, so, I was really excited, almost lost some of my voice there.
Game
Um,
winner.
and then at the end, I'm still kinda sweating it because you never know, and of course,
You never know as a Vikings fan.
they get the big play, and then, they throw the bomb, and I'm cheering because Isaiah Rodgers comes down with what looked to be an interception. I'm throwing my kid again. I'm we're cheering. We're both going nuts. And of course, there was a timeout called by Kevin O'Connell, and we gotta run it back. So we gotta do it
Yep.
time. And luckily, it was an underneath throw that again that had potential. And luckily, I forget who got the tackle, but somebody was able to wrap it up, and get the tackle before going out of bounds and ran out the clock. So I'm feeling pretty good on the victory. I don't know if you heard anything that I had said um, early on. Just kind of ran through, game as far as like the scoring is kind of how everything kind of played up towards the end.
Yeah.
One of the things that caught my eye that I haven't covered yet in this game that was a big surprise. That obviously there'll be more stuff, and I'm sure the questions will be asked. Hey, you get a win, everyone's feeling good, but where the heck was Jordan Addison early in this game, and why was he not on the field? And that's something that we saw that apparently it was Kevin O'Connell's decision to keep him out. So kind of feels and sounds like maybe something happened. Maybe he missed curfew, wasn't at a team meeting, something like that. You know, I
Yeah.
hope it was something like that, but obviously, I'm glad he came back into the game
Right.
and ended up making a couple big plays down the stretch for us, and of course the game winning touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, you got to believe that it was something off the field. Well, I mean, I don't know unless they caught some on film and that was
Hmm.
like always the plan. They just never shared it. But I'm sure something happened where, yeah, he broke curfew or something like that. But I still hate the decision. Like, find the guy. I mean, don't jeopardize the team and punish the rest of the team because of one guy's mistakes. Like, I just don't like that. It's like some
Hmm.
college football stuff to me. It's like, hit the players in their pocket, fine them, but don't take them off the field. Like, you guys are 2-2. You haven't looked particularly good on offense. He just got back from a 3-game suspension. Fine him. Don't bench him. I just don't understand it to me.
Yeah, and depending on what happened, I mean that could be more of what was maybe infuriating to Vikings coaches is you were just on a 3-game suspension and obviously probably did
Sure.
something he shouldn't have done. So I mean, you would think coming off a suspension, hey, you're got a honeymoon phase, whatever it is, but obviously
That's what
something happened. I do
Yeah.
want to go to one of the comments that Jeremy Armstrong I see online because I don't want to ignore you because I know you had this right away. Um, cut Hawk or major pay cut.
What?
Um, and I think
Hawkinson played well today. I mean, I
y-
don't think he's had the opportunity to be fully utilized this season either. Like you would hope in the passing game, but when you have a backup tackles, you got to use your tight ends to chip and block, and that takes away a lot of good that comes out of the passing game. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of major pay cut you want to give him. Like 2 years ago, he had 1,000 yards or something, and last year was last year with Darnold, and he missed quite a bit of time.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I
now
I, I definitely don't agree with that.
now I will say the play call that they had that screen to Hawkinson,
It was a terrible play call.
maybe
You
that's not the play to run with TJ Hawkinson, but he was targeted 6 times and came down with all 6 targets for 36 yards, and some of them were big plays that actually extended drives. So I mean,
on that last drive,
I think we need a healthy offensive line before we can maybe fully
yeah,
unlock this offense in general. Until then, right now, Justin Jefferson and a couple of big plays from Jordan Addison are really carrying this offense
yeah.
as far as in the past game. But
I'm not I'm not here for the Hawkinson hate. I don't get it. He come back last year from injury, and Darisaw goes out. I mean, but you got to realize how much they have to use him when I mean, and it's every team. Like every team who has to play with a bunch of backups on the
mhm,
offensive line, like the offensive linemen are at a premium. So when you have good ones, you're set, man. You're effective. But if they get hurt, never in the NFL are the backups gonna like live up to what the starters were doing. And when you're missing the two most important positions, the left tackle and the right tackle on the offensive line, then you have to get help from somewhere. And it's every offensive coach will tell you it's the tight ends.
now,
So I don't
a-
get it.
absolutely. Now, Ryan, in the pregame, I talked about these were the 5 keys of the game. That Browns
Mm-hmm.
defensive front versus offensive line. You know, before I answer, I don't want to sway you. How do you think our our offensive line that was patched together with Joe Huber, Blake
Yeah.
Brendel at center that he's never played, and Justin School? How do you think they did today?
Well, I think Kevin O'Connell set him up for the best possible outcome. I will give him that in this game because he wasn't trying to get insanely aggressive. And
Mhm.
and without, looking at any film or any highlights of anything, it seemed like, and not for nothing, Blake Brandel, there was no snap issues. So just that alone is a positive for a third guy coming in and playing center, a third string center. So I'll give him that. The whole Darisaw thing, I don't understand it. For one, he was injured or he wasn't injured. So now he's on a pitch count. He's on, and instead of, why would he not be in there at the end of the game? Like, take that pitch count and use it for drives in which you may not like. I don't understand. Like, he has to be in on the last series of the game.
Right.
So
But,
I don't
perhaps
get
he's
that.
got something that's kinda nagging or that happened during the game, kinda hard to say,
Well,
but,
Stefanski or Seifert, Kevin Seifert, he tweeted out that it's not an injury; it's
mm,
planned for the pitch count that they
I
have
if
him
that's
on.
the case, I agree with you 100%. He's
But
gotta be in there at the end of the game.
yeah,
We needed, the protection, for Carson to get us down the field, so absolutely.
but
Um,
I mean, the Browns defensive front showed why they're one of the best in the game in this game, in my opinion. They were, you know, anytime Carson Wentz had the ball for longer than 2 seconds, they were in his grill. So
they were really good. But I thought, for, being your first time starting in a game, Joe Huber, first time playing at center, Blake Brandel, and then, of course, Justin School, who's gotten a lot of ridicule. I thought they held up all right. Um,
yeah,
I thought
a
they
lot of
did a good
that. I
job.
mean, I mean, they ran a ton of 2 tight end sets with Hawkinson chipping to help on Miles Garrett, and Miles Garrett's still just a freak, so he
Sure.
still made some plays. But what are you gonna do?
Um, so Minnesota's passing attack versus Cleveland's secondary. Other than taking some sacks, I mean, Carson Wentz, I thought did a good job. Although I would say that Justin Jefferson definitely on some plays, uh, bailed him out with some amazing catches. I mean,
Yeah,
his hands. He showed why he is the best receiver in the game.
yeah, and I mean, I think that's part of I guess the growing pains a little bit of this team is, and something that when JJ gets back, he needs to realize that sometimes it's really just as simple as put the ball in your best player's hands,
Hmm.
and you got to target him and give him a chance to catch the ball. I mean, it's like how many quarterbacks are throwing to any old wide receiver with the game on the line. Uh, a one-on-one ball when he's clearly not open
Right.
against Ward, one of the best corners in the NFL. And you just you got to trust your premier future Hall of Fame player to go be a premier future Hall of Fame player. And so you got to give Wentz credit there for doing that. The
And he
deep balls
drove us
down the
down the field.
middle, he did. Yeah, I mean, I was impressed by that drive. I really thought O'Connell was in his bag because there was some really, really good play calls versus the defense that they were lining up in. So you got to give him a lot of credit. He made the plays. What's
And we
up,
just
Austin?
we just had Austin join us.
Hey guys, that was a
What's
heck of a
going
game, huh?
on? It was something.
Absolutely. So, Austin, you just joined us, and actually, this is a great time. We're talking about Minnesota's passing attack versus Cleveland's secondary, and Justin Jefferson, just an amazing show again, being able to with the limited pass attack that we're able to cobble together against a really good defense with issues with the offensive line. He again showed out. He had in this game 7 receptions for 123 yards, and he just showed why he's the best receiver in the game against Denzel Ward, who's arguably let's say top 3 corner in the league.
Yeah, I mean,
And against a tandem
Yeah.
that's probably the top in the league with Greg Newsome, the second on the other side.
Yeah, I mean Jefferson showing how he can do it all. He did a great job, having great body control because a lot of these passes were not where they needed to be, and he was still bringing the ball in and making a couple more steps forward and getting yards after the catch with throws that were off target. And then you could see the separation he was getting on Ward too. Is
Mhm.
his first couple of steps that he was able to get out in front of him. I think Justin Jefferson really had a huge game today, and I think it shows why he really is the best receiver in the NFL.
Absolutely. And with that, I mean, I want to go ahead and recognize one of our sponsors that we have, and that's Badass Wood Art. That's Badass Wood Art. You can use code VC15 to receive 15% off. But I want to go ahead and mention our badass player of the game from That's Badass Wood Art. That is Justin Jefferson with 7 receptions, 123 yards. That was pretty badass from Justin Jefferson.
oh yeah, he's the best in the game. There's no question about it, in my opinion. I mean, when it comes to 50-50 balls and the way he can contort his body and make those catches, it's just yeah, he's just awesome. And props to Kevin O'Connell and Carson Wentz and really trying to make it a simple offensive game plan, knowing you got to get the ball out of your hands and just making sure that your premier player is featured the way he should be featured in every game.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm kind of impressed how our offensive line played in the second half, having only Fries being the only starter on the field in the second half. That was very impressive that they were able to have enough time to get the ball into Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison's hands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on our run defense and just it's seemingly we've had trouble lately. Really good. We're top 3 in the league for passing defense, but we're towards the bottom in our run defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of that is Cashman being out. Cashman's a big run stopper in the middle. I think when he gets back, it's going to help the defense out a lot. But I mean, it kind of happened. We shifted away from our interior defensive linemen being more pass rushers than run stoppers like we have in the past. And I think maybe that transition has a little bit to do with it too. Maybe guys like Redmond need to develop a little more. They're younger and be able to be more of run stoppers as well.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of. I mean, just without even reviewing anything so far, even in this game, because once we started to get gashed over and over again, I was like, well, where's the problems coming from? And our linebackers were getting eaten by blocks. They're not getting around blocks. They're not filling holes. The great thing about Cashman is that he plays so downhill, and he has such a feel and touch for the game that he knows what gap to fill and where to shoot the gap if he's gonna play backside. And yeah, so I think not having him is a huge loss. I totally agree with that, Austin. But also, the defensive lineman could do a lot better job helping their linebackers by eating double teams. I mean, I know you can't hold on the defensive line, but you can make sure you get a little handful of jersey before they get to the second level to slow them down a little bit. That helps your linebackers a ton. And Javon Hargrave, as good as he is as a pass rusher, he's equally as bad as a run stopper, and that's always been his MO. So you're not going to get that out of him.
Both him and Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, yeah. They can slip the guards and they can get to the backfield. But if you're going to play that way, you got to understand the aggressiveness can work against you, and you could be upfield without a paddle. There's nowhere to go. You're upfield, and they put you exactly where they wanted to put you and opened a big hole. And now you got a tackle, or you got even the center coming down on your linebacker, and you're counting on Theo Jackson, Josh Metellus, or Harrison Smith to fill a void. So it's a huge issue right now that hopefully with health will be solved. But if not, then definitely something to pay attention to in the offseason. And not for nothing, but I'm all for giving up 2 first-round picks to go get Dexter Lawrence if that's what it takes.
So we got hurt.
I love Dexter Lawrence.
We got hurt in a couple spots, by Njoku, but other than that, we absolutely limited their ability to throw the ball. Great job. Couple really good deflections, especially by Byron Murphy Jr. Preventing a touchdown at one point there, and they ended up scoring eventually anyways. But our corners did a really good job today. And, Jerry Jeudy, he's somewhere on a milk carton, nowhere to be found. And, again, Isaiah Bond didn't have a big game either, and he was their second leading receiver. So, it was really the tight end game with the 2 touchdowns from those individuals. So we did a really good job in the passing game. We did get 2 sacks on Dylan Gabriel. But at the same time, even though we struggled with the run game, we were able to isolate Dylan Gabriel's ability to run on us, which was a concern, at least from my perspective, coming into this game. Is, are we going to get hurt or see extended drives with his ability to run the ball? And he tried a couple different times, and we were able to wrangle him and get some, crucial tackles on him. So that was good to see.
Yeah, for sure. And I know for sure in the first half, a wide receiver didn't have a catch. And I think in the second half, I only remember Bond and Jeudy having 1 catch each. So that's big for our defense to be able to hold the wide receivers on the outside to only 2 catches and keeping it within the tight end, like you were saying. Fannin kind of was looking good in the beginning, but we kind of slowed him down as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a matter of stopping Judkins, which at the end of the day, Judkins is going to be one of the best running backs of the future here. He looks really good. So I'm not too concerned about that one, but I think it's something that it's got to get fixed going forward. And with Brian Flores, I'm not too worried about that. He knows how to make good adjustments.
Yeah, they showed why they're the top. I think they're the top pass defense in the NFL. I mean, Stefanski said at the halftime interview that the plan kind of was, where it's going to be a lot of tight ends and running back passes. So he's like, the game plan's going according to plan for him anyway. So, I don't think anytime he did have to throw the ball, there was a lot of overthrows that we saw, a lot of, those outbreaking routes where you try to hug it, you got to pin it right on the sideline for your guy. Those are really, really tough throws to make. He has the arm to do it, so we'll see if he can just develop into that kind of quarterback. I will say we were benefits of some pretty rough offensive line play on their side as well. A lot of holding calls and things that brought the ball back, which kind of saved us on as well. I mean, we were, but like there was a couple, like the one hold, I think it was against Metellus. I mean, it was right at the point of attack. You have to make that call. It was clear as day. He had a real shot at making that tackle and preventing big games.
Quinchon almost had like a 56-yard touchdown on us that got called back,
Yeah.
So we were very fortunate that there was a penalty there, but so anyways, with the game turning out the way it did, obviously we kind of shot ourselves in the foot on a couple drives where it seemed like we had stuff going, and then of course we fumbled the ball. So both running backs, Xavier Scott and Jordan Mason, had one today. Is that something to be of concern for us? Obviously, whenever you fumble a ball, but is that something that we need to be concerned about, or they just get a good punch out on us?
I think in terms of Mason's, that was a little concerning. Scott, he was hit 4 yards behind the line by two different guys. I think that one's a little tougher, although being in the NFL, you still got to be able to hold on to the ball. But sure. I kind of blame Scott's fumble more so on the offensive line than I do on Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's definitely time to hit a panic button like Adrian Peterson fumble problems. But I will say Mason's, it was kind of weird because he was contorted a little ways, twisting a certain way, and it was a good punch out. You got to give him credit. It was a good defensive play. On the Scott one, it was like, I don't know what the offensive line was doing. They almost took the handoff from Wentz. So it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to even have a chance to put the ball away when that's the case. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not panicking that they have a fumble problem. I'm kind of shocked we didn't have a turnover ourselves this game. But I mean, did they have a fourth down stop? I think they may have had one turnover on downs.
Yeah,
or maybe not. But still, it's just it is what it is. You're gonna have a couple fumbles throughout the season, and as long as it's not, like what Derrick Henry's going through this year or what Adrian Peterson went through back in the day, where it seemed like every game we were losing a fumble.
So I got to ask the question because, obviously we're going into a bye week and, it's out there. So we're hearing reports that supposedly the injury might be more severe than first let on. So instead of a 2 to 4 week, maybe a 4 to 6 week type thing. We've now seen 3 games of Carson Wentz. He's now 2-1, and going into the bye week and coming out of it, what are your feelings with Carson Wentz, and what are your feelings with the whole JJ situation and when he comes back? I'm going to flip it to you first, Austin.
Yeah, I mean, JJ McCarthy situation kind of concerns me. I'm not going to lie. Maybe we're just being cautious and we want him to come back at 100%. I also saw that KOC was saying he's not going to play. He's not going to start JJ in a game until he has a full week of practice as well. So he wants to put him into a good situation, but I'm a little concerned about how long he's been out. And go back on Carson Wentz. I don't think Carson had that great of a game, but he also played well enough to put us in a position to win today. But we were in a situation where we lost in time of possession. We weren't able to move the ball at times today. And I think he just he turned it on in the end when he had to. And then at the start of the second half too, with the scripted plays, he was able to get things going. A lot of his balls were off target. Our wide receivers were making plays. Obviously, I'm not going to say which turn the Brosmer because who knows what we have with an undrafted free agent. So I think Carson has the experience. We got to stick with him. But I think this is showing us why maybe JJ McCarthy is the quarterback of the future. And I would like to get him back sooner rather than later and hopefully see him succeed and develop more.
Ryan?
Yeah, I don't know if he's the quarterback of the future, but he's definitely the quarterback that needs to be playing.
Yeah.
Carson Wentz showed who he is. He's Carson Wentz. He's always been the same guy. You know what you have with Carson Wentz, and he can come in and be effective backup quarterback. I don't think he's gonna, similar to what Austin's saying, he's not a guy that's gonna take you to the promised land. So what are you even doing then? What's the point? You got to get JJ back in there. You get the O-line healthy, you get some guys going, and you got to find out what you got. I mean, you have to right now, because what Super Bowl aspirations you may have had to start the season, I think you got to be a little bit more realistic at this point and look at the team and how they're performing. And it's not at a Super Bowl caliber level or even close right now. And so there's no reason not to play your quarterback who you took in top 10 and is supposed to be the guy of the future. You got to find out what you got with him while he's still on the rookie scale contract as well. I mean, and especially like if you know, if you're going to be drafting, if you're not going to make the playoffs, you're going to be drafting in the top 15 this year or whatever it is, top 17 this year, then, you know, maybe you make a trade down to go after a quarterback again, but at least you'll know what you have. And I wouldn't be totally opposed to that. You put JJ McCarthy back in and say he stinks it up the rest of the year. Okay. I mean, what's the harm of having 2 top 10 quarterback draft picks, both on rookie scales? Let them duke it out.
Yeah, I think both of you guys are definitely on the same page for the most part. As far as JJ needs to play, we need to find out what we have. You know, he's the quarterback that this team drafted to go forward. We have Justin Jefferson in his prime right now. We have Jordan Addison coming into his prime as well. We don't want to waste that. We have some really good pieces. This defense, you know, let's see what we got. And if we don't think that we have it in JJ, let's go get somebody that can win, because this is a team that's built to win now. So let's find out what we have. Let's find out if he's the guy to get us there, you know, or if we need to be looking to try to make a run. Now, before we move on to the next thing, I do want to give a shout out to SeatGeek, another one of our sponsors. Make sure that you're using code VikeCentral and get $20 off any $50 plus purchase. Any Vikings games coming up after the bye, make sure that you're using SeatGeek. Use code VikeCentral, and for any events or anything that you're trying to go to get tickets, go ahead. That code's good for anything. As long as it's over that $50 purchase, you can get $20 off.
I have a
Go ahead, Ryan.
I have a hypothetical for you guys.
Yeah.
What next year, going into next year, let's say, you know, JJ plays, he's all right, but not like, oh my God, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer, or, you know, even like a Russell Wilson or anything. Anthony and the Colts release Anthony Richardson. And so let's say you have a chance to draft John Mateer out of Oklahoma, who I think is probably going to be the first quarterback taken in the draft. What if you had those 3 guys just duking it out all offseason to see who could be a real viable starting quarterback under a Kevin O'Connell offense?
Well, I don't think we're going to give up on McCarthy that quick. I think it's more realistic that we would sign Richardson, and it would be Richardson and McCarthy. I think McCarthy would have to play really, really bad coming back in order for us to draft a quarterback. I think we're going to do our due diligence. I think we've seen it that quarterbacks don't just have it right away. He was the youngest starting quarterback at the start of the season. I think it's going to be one of those things where we're going to have to give it time. But
well, let's say he gets injured again.
If he gets injured again, then I think it's an injury problem. Yeah.
Right.
And then I'm worried about JJ McCarthy, and maybe we do give up on him then. But yeah, if it's in terms of play, I think, yeah, we got to stick with him. But yeah, and yeah, if he gets injured again, then I think we got to be worried about it. 3 injuries in 2 years would be bad. So yeah, but I would like that hypothetical. It would be fun to have a quarterback competition with 2 young guys. That would be a fun hypothetical.
I don't think that there's any hurt in, if he's available, bringing him in and seeing what's there, letting the so-called quarterback whisperer have a go. And who knows, maybe another team picks him up. It's a Daniel Jones type situation, where we end up with a pick. Now, hopefully, we end up we just find out that JJ is the guy. Hopefully
Yeah.
that is
It'd be
what
great.
happens, and we're not having to, search for someone else, or because even if we were to go off of him and go on to Richardson, you're still wondering, is this the guy?
Yeah.
I feel like you're kind of back in the same situation. At the same time, Anthony Richardson has his share of health problems and trying to stay on the field. So he's been one of those quarterbacks that, yes, he can run, but then that's also the reason why he's not there on Sundays. Sometimes the best ability is availability. And, we need a quarterback that's going to be there. We were kind of spoiled in a sense with Kirk Cousins where, he's there every Sunday. We had the one season where, he missed part of the season, but other than that, I mean, he was there. We
Mhm.
didn't have those issues. So hopefully that's not a trend or a pattern that we see with JJ McCarthy as well. But yeah, I mean, you got to go out and find the guy. So if JJ is not the guy, I would like to see us switch off sooner than later and not take 3 years to figure out whether or not he's the guy, especially with this team.
Yeah.
Ryan Kelly is the next topic I want to bring up. So he's had 5 concussions now, 2 this year. And I just want him to get healthy, one way or another. But I really think it could be, the last that we've potentially seen of Ryan Kelly. He may have to consider being done with his career for the betterment of his health. If he does come back, I think that's great. But we still need to be looking to bring in another center, whether it be through free agency or trade. Right now, Juergens isn't healthy, and at the end of the season, I don't think Ryan Kelly is our center going in next season with the injuries.
Yeah. I mean, who's the center for Michigan? Nugent is on the practice squad.
I did see his name come by. Somebody had thrown that out there.
Yeah, and I mean, he's familiar with McCarthy, so if we're
Sure.
putting McCarthy back in the game, there's kind of no reason not to at least pick him up off a practice squad.
Mhm.
I will say, like I said, I was pretty impressed with what I think I saw out of Blake Brandel today. It'll be interesting to see what the film shows and what he grades out at.
Right.
But if that has to be the option, Blake Brandel at center until Michael Juergens can come back at least, or if Ryan Kelly even decides to give it a go after we get his IR stint, then fine. I kind of like what I saw out of Juergens when he was playing too. So when he does get back, I'm not like feeling super down about the center position. And look, the thing about the center position is if you have solid guard play, they can really help your center out. So having Will Fries, and then when Donovan Jackson gets back and he's healthy, then you're in a pretty good position if it's Juergens, Brandel, Ryan Kelly. Either way, just because you have 2 really good guards on each side of the center.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. Guards help out the center a lot. And like you were saying, Brandel actually did really well. In terms of blocking, he did great. He had one bad snap, but it didn't really hurt us. It was fine. That's going to happen when you're not never played center before.
Impressive, really.
Yeah, but I kind of think you have to go. Like, it depends on where we're at when it comes down to the trade deadline. If we're a team that's contending, I think we got to go get a center. We can't unless Brandel keeps improving and keeps playing as well as he has, or Juergens comes back and plays well. But in terms of if Kelly's gone, or if Kelly's done playing, which is a real possibility, I really hope he focuses on his health. But if we're without Kelly, we really need to have a veteran center. I feel like with a rookie quarterback like JJ McCarthy, but who knows? Like you were saying, maybe we get more progression out of Brandel or Juergens when they're back, and then we stick with those guys. But yeah, I think the center is a very important for a rookie quarterback. So I think that's something we got to focus on.
Absolutely. Before we get into your guys' final thoughts, some to kind of churn in your minds. So we go into the bye week. We have 4 games coming up against the Lions, Chargers, the Ravens, and I'm forgetting one, the Eagles, obviously coming out of the bye. So think about that. Until then, I got one more sponsor I want to talk about. And hey, if you don't have any new Vikings gear, take a look at Homage. Homage.com has some great clothing, great fitting wear to cover your favorite team, the purple. I have some of them and I love them. Viking Central is sponsored by Homage. They're a clothing company that has an online store filled with items that feature your favorite sports teams, video games you used to or still play, one-liners from that movie you love to quote, and much more. They are reasonably priced, stylish, and comfortable clothing that will have you coming back for more. Use our Viking Central QR code to shop today and buy a shirt that will have your coworkers and friends reminiscing over fond memories, have a few laughs, and look good while doing it. Homage, where legendary comfort is on deck. Thank you to Homage. You can go ahead and check them out, and you can go ahead and also use that link up top, homage.sjv.io/Vikings. And that's one of the ways that you can support us, again, with SeatGeek, and then also that's Badass Wood Art. So kind of final thoughts as we get into these final games that we have coming up. What do you guys think going into the bye? Obviously, we need to get healthy and come out of that facing the Eagles. But with this 4-game stretch, what should be the goal during this 4-game stretch?
I think our goal needs to be to come out of this at least 2-2. Our season goes down the drain, I think, if we go 1-3 in this stretch. So I think I would really love to see us try to play more like the Browns did today, have the ability to control time on the clock. They finished the game with they had the turnover battle won. So every statistic that you see from this game, other than the score, shows the Browns won this game, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in terms of, I would love for us to control the ball more. I would love for us to turn the ball over more on defense and control the ball when it comes down to it. And I think if we do that, we can have a real chance to win a couple of these games, and especially against a team like the Eagles. That's kind of their MO as well. They like to control the time of possession. So I think if we can do that, get healthy, have our offensive line, I think it would help to pound the ball with Jordan Mason, and maybe even Aaron Jones gets back in one of these weeks and have the dual running back threat that we thought we'd have. And I think we could do that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, first and foremost, just get healthy, man. It's painful this year. So everyone get right. Take care of yourself. Make sure you're good to go coming back from the bye. If you have to go 1-3, make sure you beat the Lions. I mean, and then your season still has hope, I guess. But if I think 2-2 would ultimately be the goal. I mean, right now the Ravens don't really look like a top tier team, so I don't see any reason why you can't beat them. And yeah, I agree with pretty much everything Austin said. It's just get right, be focused coming back, and get your sophomore quarterback back in there.
Yeah, and I agree with you guys, especially, if we can get 2 wins out of that 4-game stretch, I think that's great. If we're able to get 2 games, but at least get one. At least get one. I think that Chargers game is probably the easiest out of the 4. It depends if Lamar Jackson's back for the Ravens, but I think
that's at LA.
I believe so.
Sorry, I mean to put you on the spot.
Oh, that's all right. Might have to check that out here real quick as we're talking. But that's the game that I hope we're able to take away and win. Those other 4 games are just really brutal coming out of it. And let me just look here.
Yeah, it's at LA.
At LA. Yeah, the Eagles were home, and I think the Ravens are home too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Chargers
Thursday night game against the Chargers.
Chargers and Ravens. I mean, you should be able to win those games. I mean, honestly,
The Ravens, they'll be a 1-win team, and then those are the type of games that we lose.
they're a 1-win. Yeah, they'll be a 1-win. We play them. You're right. There's gonna be like
no, that's gonna be a short week. Coming off of that Eagles game, then we're gonna have to go to LA on a short week, play that Thursday night game. So
we got to stop. I mean, I don't know. We got to stop looking at the Lions like they're this. I mean, I know they're really good, but like if that's in our brains going into the game, then that's a problem. Like they can beat the Lions. Go beat them.
Yeah. No, getting healthy is our starting point. If we're not healthy, we're going to have issues. But if we can shore up our offensive line and patch that up, and at least get 4 out of 5 starters back, hopefully we're going to be a better throwing team and running team when healthy.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 linemen back, Cashman back, and let's ride.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any final thoughts that you guys have about today's game, Austin?
Yeah, just like I was saying, it's tough. It looked like Carson Wentz was missing a lot of spots, but like we said, only one starting offensive lineman was there. But I'd like to see him be a little more precise with his throws, and maybe we get more yards after the catch. I think that's something that's very achievable, and I think it had part to do with the Browns' defense and their pass rush was in his head. So I think he's going to progress, and he will play better against the Eagles, I believe. So I'm not too worried about it, but I think we can get this. Let's go get him, Vikings.
Ryan?
You got to stop the run. That's everything on defense. It's a mindset. Stopping the run to me is like rebounding in basketball. It's a want to, man. And you got to get off blocks. And you got to be in their backfield. There's no reason not to be. Like, let's get some run stops.
Yeah, I mean, that might be the boring stuff, but absolutely. We got to do a better job on the run defense. We're doing great on pass defense. And, really just get healthy, coming off of this bye week into the Eagles game in week 7. But, this was a win that against a really, yes, it's still in Gabriel, but that's still a really tough team because of their defense. That's still a good quality win. Green Bay played the Browns and, came out with an L, and that's a really good, solid team.
I don't think anyone would look at the Browns after today's game and say that they have a better chance of winning games with Joe Flacco than Dylan Gabriel. I think Dylan Gabriel gives them a dynamic that they didn't have with Flacco.
Absolutely.
And gives them an even better chance of winning. So yeah.
And plus, we had to play him with no tape on him. We were seeing him for the first time in the NFL, right. So that always has 100%. Something to do with it. So I'm really happy with how we were able to stop the pass game.
He's going to have other games where he's going to use his legs, and that's going to be something that, helps them win a game. And we were able to corral that today.
There were tight windows that he threw into that we happened to be there and able to deflect the ball that a lot of quarterbacks would throw interceptions there.
Yeah. He's got a cannon, but he was inaccurate with some overthrows where they were just
but I think overthrows, especially for a rookie quarterback, are just bound to happen with the adrenaline going, and you kind of lose a little bit of mechanics with that. But I'm saying where he was accurate on a lot of throws that our defense just happened to be there on. But if he was slightly inaccurate or slightly behind, they would have been easy interceptions. So I'll give him credit there.
So good, solid win. Thanks for everyone that's online, that's joining us, watching us. We definitely appreciate it. Go ahead, check out the websites of our sponsors if you can support us. Make sure if you're not already following us on X, YouTube, and Facebook and TikTok, please do so. Same thing with our Substack, and check out the articles that we're putting out there. And just want to thank you guys all, and go celebrate today. We got a Vikings win. We're 3-2 going into the bye. Go celebrate. For Viking Central, again, I want to thank you again. I'm Steve. That's Austin. That's Ryan. Thanks again. Skol Vikings, and we'll see you next time. And again, congratulations to our badass player of the game, Justin Jefferson. Jettas gets that award today. Make sure that you're using That's Badass Wood Art. Go check them out. Thanks again for sponsoring that. Luis at That's Badass Wood Art. Have a great day. Great weekend. Skol Vikes.